Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity for allowing me to come here to share with you all a very exciting, to me personally, I feel it's a very exciting research program that FTA is engaging in this space, which we call Mobility on Demand Sandbox. So I think Susan and Mark both touched on, and Jeff touched on the fact that we are facing an environment with a sharing economy. We're talking about in this particular context, car sharing, bike sharing, ride sharing, microtransit, and many others, and new solutions continue to get developed, new ideas get formed, and partnership being facilitated. So that's one force that I see. The other one is enabling technology. I believe Susan and Mark both also touch on connected, automated, shared, and electrified. It's also very important to when we put our conversation in a context. What's more important really is about all travelers, and it's our belief that if travelers benefit from mobility choices, and the attributes of those choices include accessibility, equity, affordability, and flexibility. I'm pretty sure safety, I must have missed a few others, and those are just examples, but again, it's our belief that a traveler benefits from mobility _ choices. So the question is, what's the identity of transit in this evolving mobility landscape or mobility space? It's our belief at the Federal Transit Administration that transit can continue to be a most critical mobility resource that exists that is available to everybody in the community across the country. The real question is what we should do or should not do to prepare transit ready for those future opportunities and challenges. I want to share this, it's actually a direct quote from internet search. I just did it the other day, and I search in my Google. I now understand that your Google search may come out different outcomes, but my search, I just type in transit mission. And this turned out to be my #1, which is from Metro Transit in Minneapolis. The mission statement stated as, we at Metro Transit deliver environmentally sustainable transportation choices that link people, jobs, and community conveniently, consistently, and safely. When I look at this mission, one thing struck me was, wow, there's no single reference of transit. Well, other than the name, their name is Metro Transit. Other than that, there's no single reference of transit. There's no single reference of transit ridership. And I think that this really speaks to my heart that I think this is the direction that we are moving towards. In the end of the day, it's really whether or not people's mobility needs get met, whatever means that it takes, which again, I think transit is a critical piece in the puzzle. But our mission as a public transportation provider is to serve people's mobility need. And Mobility Sandbox program, like Mark mentioned, this is a USDOT initiative that to demonstrate, is a demonstration program to explore different mobility on demand models. And there's 3 things that we're trying to accomplish through the Sandbox program. To explore innovative approaches to integrate mobility solutions with public transportation, and empowers project teams to implement innovative business models. And I think one of the questions that Mark and one of the audience asked is public-private partnership. Right? So how do we actually construct a creative and feasible business model to expand mobility options for all people? And to inform future mobility policies at all levels, including federal, local, and state, and how do we actually take advantage of this opportunity that's presented to us. And I got asked frequently about why we actually code this as a sandbox, this demonstration as a sandbox. And I just very quickly to share with you that this is actually a product of kind of like an ad hoc meeting that we have at FTA with the internal meeting. We're trying to find one word that really reflect several core values of this demonstration program. We want to find a word that is really saying to encourage a partnership, public-private partnership, we want to find that word to articulate the value of fostering ideas, innovations, to facilitate resource sharing, and also want to convey the idea there's no one way to play and there's no wrong way to play in this program. So somebody came out and said, well, that sounds like a sandbox. That's precisely what it is, and you have people coming in and leaving the sandbox, and they come in with the different tools and resources, trucks and buckets and shovels, and have ideas to build, to continue, to leverage each other's ideas. So I think the sandbox really speaks to what we're trying to accomplish here. So now, 2016 Sandbox Program. This is the first year that FTA rolled out this program, and there's $8 million available out of FTA research funds. The dollar amount, just put in the context, the total budget for FTA research, discretionary research, it's about $20 million. So $8 million represents 40% of the total FTA research funds. That in itself speaks to the significance or how much FTA really see the importance of this topic, research topic. And this particular sandbox program in 2016 has two major requirements in there. One is a local share minimum 20%, which is statutory requirement. And the lead applicant has to be providers of public transportation. And other than that, it's really not much of other requirement, because the idea is to allow a lot of flexibility to encourage innovation and innovative business models. So the project solicited through Notice Funding Opportunity published in May, and proposal was due in July. And in that opportunity, we asked each project to propose something that can be developed in 12 months, followed by 12-month implementation. In other words, depending on the status of each community in this mobility on demand space, and we want to hear their next step, because again, it has to complete the development in 12 months. So this map, get an idea where the proposal came from. We received a total of 78 eligible applications across 33 states, and those states are highlighted, and some you can see a few states that have multiple or large number of applications. And as you would envision, California with actually 17 applications, and the other one is in Massachusetts, also have quite a few, and New York and Texas. And the total request out of those applications, 78 applications, was $57 million. To remind you that we actually have $8 million available. So this turned out to be one of the most competitive grant opportunity that FTA put out. I want to, probably I'm assuming that I want to conclude soon, so we have some questions. Question and answer. So we selected 8 projects out of the 78, 11 projects, I'm sorry, 11 projects out of the 78. And this is the selection, and we have 3 projects in California, and TriMet in Oregon, Pierce Transit in Washington, CTA in Illinois, Vermont is the state DOT, DART in Texas, Pinellas, Florida, and 2 projects in Arizona in the Phoenix and Tucson area. And I'm going to leave out this, this is basically a quick description of each project. I want to bring to your attention the third one from the list. It's the City of Palo Alto. I believe Steve will give more insight, provide more insight information about this particular project later. And another project also is a kind of commuter focus. It's the one on the top, San Francisco Bay Area Public Transit, BART. I'm going to flip through the slides. And one thing I want to end with this slide is to share with you more information about Sandbox. If you do, I understand that if I put up the link, it probably harder for you to follow. But if you go to internet search, just say FTA MOD Sandbox. I tried that. Again, your search result may be different, but the idea is to get onto the find the link to the FTA website. The information there, just a few examples. FY16 Mobility on Demand solicitation. It's on the website, including notice funding opportunities and FAQs. And also for each of the 11 projects that we selected, we provided 2-page detailed description for each project, such as their partners and specific by name who they partner with, and whether or not they partner with TNCs or car sharing or bike sharing, and who they are. And also very important that I want to share with you is FTA published a shared mobility FAQ, frequent asked questions. A lot of people told me that they found this very useful. FTA actually provide clarity without any change in rules, regulation, requirement today. What FTA financial resources can be used to support shared mobility. And then we have a shared mobility online dialogue, which is closed. And finally, we enter agreement with the Shared Use Mobility Center to perform the innovation and knowledge accelerator functions to further promote the learning experience that we gather from the MOD sandbox. That concludes my presentation.
Excellent. We have a couple of questions. We have about 3 minutes. The first one is from Paul Manette. He said, what is the logic, given your sandbox concept, of limiting proposals to only providers of public transport? It seems inconsistent.
Thank you for the question. The easy response was, this is FTA grant, and it's our belief, and at the beginning I share with you that it's our belief that that public transportation is a critical mobility resource exists in the community. We think public transportation should collaborate and even to a degree transform itself so ready for future challenges. So that's why we want to require the lead applicant being a public transportation provider. However, in the same solicitation, we also require public transportation to partner with someone. They cannot just say, oh, we can handle everything. We don't want that application. We specifically require that they have to come in with partners.
Well, that actually leads into the next question from Danny Silva. Is there interest in the creation of a cohesive mobility ecosystem that would permit local players to be integrated into apps through different APIs that work in cross-state and city solutions?
That's another great comment. We actually face a challenge when we select those projects, because 78 projects, this 78 project represent a lot of use cases, technology being deployed, and a handful of applications actually address this. How do we actually establish the capability so we can replicate success across a much broader area, geographical areas, and even a lot of time use cases? And just draw your attention that 2 of the projects that we selected out of the 11, TriMet in Portland, Oregon, and Vermont State DOT, they both engage in to focus on the data. How do we actually integrate, create a capability to integrate data from transit as well as shared mobility solutions? So we have capabilities such, not just operational, but also trip planning and statewide trip planning. Both projects actually tackle this in a different operating environment. One is more rural, statewide, and one is more city, urban area.